to more Let's Play Seduce Me! Continuing on with Sam's route, I wasn't doing anything at all. Anyway, here we are with helping the chores with Sam. I walked out to the front door to see Sam not cleaning, but doing slow motions with his hands and arms. He was doing Tai Chi, a form of martial arts I had previously learned aside from Taekwondo. However, he wasn't cleaning, which made me cross my arms and glare at him, the freaking douche. Very rude, dude. I mean, you're supposed to be cleaning. What are you doing? Aren't we supposed to be cleaning the front yard?
You were taking too long. I already finished cleaning.
What? I looked around the front and noticed that the windows were polished, the weeds were pulled and tossed from the sidewalk, the lamps were wiped down, and the stairs were swept. He really did finish cleaning. We literally disbanded a mere minute ago, though. Wow. You work fast. Sam didn't respond. He kept his eyes closed and continued to do his Tai Chi. For a guy who wanted to be a badass, I would have imagined him doing hard workouts or karate moves for practice. Tai Chi was not what I expected out of him. I stood there, wondering what to do. Might as well join him. I mean, the work's done. I remained quiet as I stood beside him and began to move along with his movements. He was going slow, so it was easy to follow along.
What are you doing?
What does it look like I'm doing?
This isn't supposed to be fun, okay? It's actually supposed to be difficult.
I know. Sam opened an eye to look at me without breaking his motions before closing it and continuing. I followed along flawlessly, keeping to his speed. Oh, there goes my dryer. Apologies, my sister threw in some clothes to get cleaned, and the beeper likes to beep when it says it's close to being finished, so apologies. It was very relaxing, until I managed to trip over my feet and land on Sam.
Oof! Hey! Watch it!
Oops. Sorry! I had landed on top of Sam, staring eye to eye with him. Sam and I couldn't stop blushing, nor did either of us move from the ground. I could hear my heart pound against his chest. Huh. Alright. Sam didn't move a muscle, but just stared at me in embarrassment. I eventually moved up off of him and brushed myself off with a large blush in my face. Sam sat up and rubbed his head.
Man, watch where you're going next time.
Yeah, I kinda deserved it, yeah. I nodded. He stood up and looked at me for a moment. I could see in his eyes that he was concerned if I was okay, but he refused to ask. I smiled before walking back into the house. I heard him sigh and I walked out of earshot. The hour the house party had arrived. In my mind, I kept double and triple checking the essentials for the party. Knowing my dad, he invited his business partners and the executives at the Anderson Company to show me off. I stood in front of my mirror in my room, staring at my form as a million thoughts ran through my mind. It was just a housewarming party, but at the same time it wasn't. It was my chance to show my dad that I was better than his expectations. It was a chance for me to see my parents as a woman. It was a test to see if I was really ready to live on my own. Well, not truly alone. I had the incubi to think, but even so, I didn't have my dad guiding me or my mom helping me through living alone. A knock on my door broke my thoughts, surprising me. Who is it?
Hey, are you okay in there? Your parents should be here soon, so you should hurry getting ready.
Well, I'm ready, but...
But what? I'm sure you look fine, Anderson. Just come on out.
Alright. Feast your eyes on this horrible creature. Yeah, I'm just kidding. As soon as I opened the door to the hall, I watched as Naomi and Susan's faces turned from smiles to complete awestruck stares. I told you I was a horrible evil beast. What?
Dude, you look hot.
Yeah, you look amazing. Where did you get that dress?
I've had it for a while. I just never had the chance to wear it. I figured I might as well bring it out now. I stepped out of my room and closed my bedroom door behind me. As I walked down the hall to the grand lobby, the incubi stood waiting for me at the bottom, all dressed to the nines as proper servants.
Whoa, they really know how to dress well, don't they?
Yeah, they do look nice. They do look very nice. I was slightly taken back at how great the boys looked in uniform. Each had the poise of a perfect gentleman, even Sam. If he combed his hair, that would be great, but I slowly began to climb down the steps with Suzu and Naomi behind me. The boys watched as I descended the staircase one step at a time, like knights waiting for their princess. I felt my face slightly flushed, but I quickly shook my head and tried to regain my thoughts. As I reached the last step, James offered his hand out to me and walked me down that final step, smiling.
As beautiful as a princess, miss.
Thank you.
So, are you prepared for tonight?
And once more, it doesn't really matter what you say. Don't remember which one I actually chose, actually. I should really watch the other ones so I can figure out which ones I haven't chosen yet, because that would kind of suck if I go through this whole entire series and routes and not gotten all of them. That would be really, really sad. Anyway. I couldn't deny that I was nervous, but I had to try. This party was more than what it seemed, and I had done all that I could for the party, to prepare for it. Now it was all up to fate. The other boys smiled assuringly at me, which made me feel a little better about everything. I looked at my phone and marked the time. Almost right on cue, the doorbell rang. I gulped. I could practically feel my dad's aura from behind the door. Sam and Eric quickly rushed to the door and opened the double doors wide to reveal my parents, both dressed in their best. Hey, Mom. Hey, Dad. Fucking asshole parents.
Oh my, I didn't know your bequeathment came with servants.
It was probably overlooked. Besides, who would deny good service?
I was completely shocked. My parents didn't question the boys. They didn't ask for verification or anything. They're just like, oh, a shit ton of boys. Cool. Nothing's gonna happen to my daughter in any shape, way, or form. I looked at the boys and noticed Sam and Eric staring intently at my parents. Were they using their powers on them? I hope to God yes, because that would be kind of sad if they weren't. They had to be. There's no way they'd be okay with this otherwise. Yeah, hope to God no.
I guess the servants counted as belongings to the house.
My mother quickly rushed to me and gave me a large hug. I hugged her back, inhaling her perfume. It had only been a couple of days, but living away from the ones who raised me was hard. My mother soon let me go and looked at my outfit.
Gorgeous. You look so lovely. David, look at your daughter and tell her I'm right.
I looked to my dad, who was looking around the lobby like an inspector. I stood my ground, waiting for him to look at me. When he did, he let a small smile grace his lips.
Your mother's right. You look like you're all grown up.
Goddamn right I am. 18, living by myself. You better believe I'm all grown up. Except I don't pay my bills. I mean, those are paid for me. Anyway, the world around me stopped as my heart pounded hard in my chest. Did my dad just compliment me? On his own accord? My mother was grinning ear to ear at his words. I was beyond speechless. Thank you, Dad. However, his cold face quickly returned as he began to look around once again.
I assume that you're ready, then, to impress the rest of the guests, correct?
What do you mean?
The entire board from Anderson Toys is coming tonight. Even the vice chairman's son will be coming. All of them will be measuring your potential.
Fuck me. My potential?
To become CEO of the company.
Fuck me twice. I knew it. Something was off about tonight, and now this party had become much more than I anticipated. I gulped silently, but I nodded in response. I looked to the incubi, but they were continuing to be servants for my father's approval. I looked behind me and saw Naomi and Suzu raise their thumbs at me for encouragement. I let out a small breath before feeling my body accept the situation. I felt a weight in my gut, but I had to hide it. As if time zoomed forward, all of a sudden, the main hall of the lobby was full of guests. Men and women in formal or business attire showed up to meet me and see my new home. I didn't expect many to come, but I was once again surprised that night. I shook hands with many officials and executive members, putting on the professional face my dad trained me to have. I felt overwhelmed, but I hid it well behind a small smile and handshake. Customer service skills, hell yeah. Many even asked me questions. I tried my best to reply as maturely as possible. I had to remember, say what they want to hear, not what you want to say.
So, how do you feel living on your own at such a young age?
It's pretty good.
I'm so sorry
pretty good.
about your grandfather passing away. It really hit all of us hard.
Oh, I appreciate your thought. Thank you.
Do you have college plans?
Yes, I do. I felt like the questions came up one after another. It was tough to answer some of them because they weren't about me. They were about the company.
What do you think will happen with the company now that your grandfather has passed?
We'll get back on track soon.
What do you think of the philanthropic policy the company has?
It's a policy that reflects my own values, so I personally think it's great.
Do you think the company should expand from just toys?
It's a toy company. Why? Eventually the questions stopped and I was back to being by myself. Naomi and Suzu were mingling in the crowds and the incubi were doing their jobs, so I was all alone in a room full of strangers. It was unnerving to think about, but at least I wasn't being questioned left and right anymore. Suddenly, though, my mom pushed her way through the crowd to me, bringing along someone I didn't know.
Honey, I'd like to introduce you to someone. This kind gentleman is the son of the vice chairman.
With my mother stood a man who looked only a couple years older than me. He smiled and held out his hand to me, silently asking for my hand.
Hi, I'm Andrew Lewis. It's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Anderson.
Hi, Andrew. Simply not a him. Andrew should not exist. I'm sorry, he just should not exist in this game. And when I do his route, you'll find out why. He should not at all exist. Anyway. Andrew was slightly taken aback, but gently smiled and lowered his head with a nod in return. My mother smiled at both of us, which made me slightly concerned. Why was she excited to introduce me to Andrew?
So, you organized this party very well, Miss Anderson. I apologize if I made you uncomfortable in some way.
Your very existence makes me uncomfortable. Oh my god, it's Snow's mom's face just, what? 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 It's actually pretty funny, actually. I am mildly amused by that face she made. Andrew then chuckled nervously, bringing a soft fist to his lips to cover his laugh properly before smiling at me.
I'm sorry if I seem a little forward. I've just been excited to meet Harold Anderson's granddaughter.
Why?
He used to talk about you all the time in the office on how you helped him refine his toys. I only attended meetings and heard all of the stories. You've helped a lot with the success of the company without having to actually work there.
Wow, I didn't know he talked about me. That would explain everyone's fascination with me and their rather personal questions. I looked to Andrew, who had a kind face to me. Something about him seemed off, and I didn't know what it was. He seemed to be hiding something. Whether it was good or bad, I was not able to find out. I felt someone walk up beside me, causing me to turn to them. Next to me was my dad, giving his cold stare to Andrew, who suddenly became tense.
So, you're Jared's son.
Andrew's body twitched slightly, whether it was fear or insult. Andrew locked his eyes with my father. I couldn't help but feel the tension between them. It irked me how fragile the air had become, enough to break at the wrong word.
You're the one who wants to be the next CEO of the Anderson Company.
Well...
I stared at Andrew. This guy wanted to take my grandfather's place as CEO? I thought the vice chairman wanted the position.
David, leave the poor boy alone.
I'm merely testing the boy's conversational skills. Nothing wrong with that.
Of course not, sir.
And polite as well. Interesting.
If you'll excuse me.
Yeah, you try being polite once in a while, Dad. Fucking jackass. Quickly, Andrew retreated away from my family into the crowd of people. Stay put. We are not following that boy for a long-ass time, thank God. I watched as he disappeared into the crowd towards the back of the house. I was worried, but I gave him his space. He obviously needed it.
Peh. He's not CEO material.
That's because you practically interrogated the young man.
And Mom's making that same face again.
A little questioning shouldn't have bothered him. He's obviously not ready for any title in our company.
I bit my tongue. I didn't want to make a scene with my dad. One wrong word and he'd lecture me in front of everyone. That was not something I wanted at my housewarming party. I let out a sigh before looking at the clock. It was getting close to midnight, meaning that the party was going to end soon. I lowered my gaze out the window and saw a limo pull up. Huh? Whose limo is that?
Oh, that must be Lewis's car.
I'll go get him. Stay with your father so you can escort your guests out together.
Yes, ma'am. My father left my dad and me to slowly escort the guests out. My dad held his simple smile as he thanked each person for coming. I did the same, and drove quickly past the doors before I could speak. Eventually, only Suzu, Naomi, my parents, and the incubi were left. My dad suddenly walked over and placed a hand on my shoulder with a smile. I stared up at him, a wave of confusion washing over my face. What?
You did good tonight. I'm proud.
Oh. Thank you, Dad.
Keep it up, and you'll be a good CEO.
Fuck me 3 times. All right.
All right. Your mother and I have to leave. I'm sure Naomi and Suzu need to leave as well. Just because it's Saturday doesn't mean you should stay up all night.
Right.
Thanks for having us. It was a great party.
We'll come visit tomorrow or something. All right?
Right. See ya. Wouldn't want to be ya. 'Cause I have a harem full of incubi.
Good night, sweetie. Come visit us soon.
Will do if I remember to put that on my schedule on people who never want to visit. Anyway. All 4 of my remaining guests left the building, all but my dad waving back to me. With the last of the guests gone, I sighed and sat on the staircase, exhausted. Whew. Well, that was tiring.
It's not like you had to do any work, though.
Give her a break, man. She was getting interrogated left and right.
She handled herself the best she could.
As expected, Princess.
Since you're exhausted, why not head to bed? We can clean up.
Ugh.
Hush, Sam.
Are you guys sure?
Positive. It shouldn't take long.
Ho ho ho! It didn't take long to find you little shits after all.
I felt a hot shudder run down my spine. The voice of my dreams echoed through the air into my ears. I looked around, panicked, alongside the incubi. James placed a hand on my shoulder, trying to remain calm.
Don't worry. No one will hurt you.
Are you sure? Are you really sure?
All of us shot our heads towards the door, finally pinning down the direction of the voice. The doors quickly swung open, revealing a sight I would never have expected to see. Skin red as blood, eyes black and gold piercing into mine, roughened up clothes, and a pistol in his hand. I saw a monster! He looks more like a gangster boy than anything. I covered my mouth to not scream at the sight. Dried blood covered the bandana around his neck as he smirked at me and the boys around me. Beside the red-skinned man was a similar-looking woman in matching thug-like clothes.
Oh, what's the matter, boys? You really didn't think I wouldn't find you, did you?
I hoped you would, you piece of...
All of a sudden, the man raised his gun at Sam's face and instantly pulled the trigger. We all gasped in shock, instinctively expecting to see a bullet run through Sam's face, but...
What the fuck?
What?
What should have been a headshot ended with a loud but empty blank shot. The pistol echoed its empty shots as the man grew more and more pissed, pulling the trigger over and over in aggravation. Luckily for my ears, it became quieter after its first shot.
Why the fuck won't you work?
This place is protected.
What did you say, Shrimp?
This place has a seal, protecting it from hellborn magic.
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Ah!
The man growled and threw his gun at Sam, who was able to dodge it in time. The pistol bounced off the ground a couple of times before sliding further away, hitting the wall in a final stop. As it stopped moving, the gun faded into black flame that disappeared into the air.
The previous owner had this place protected by magic, Malix.
Malix. That was his name. His existence resonated in my memory from the dream I had. However, I looked to Matthew in the same confusion as Malix did. This place is protected by... magic?
It would seem that your grandfather had some sort of protective barrier around this house. From the looks of it, it only disables hellborn magic.
Oh, that's convenient. Fortunately, it doesn't disable any demon magic. Hint, hint. Not you boys, you guys are okay, but another demon we shall see in the future. Hint, hint. Malix's face grew to that of extreme anger, his fists tightening as if he was crushing a stress ball.
Then what's stopping me from dragging your asses out and shooting you then?
Out of pure instinct, I stepped forward and placed myself between Malix and the boys. With no power, Malix wasn't going to fight. I took that chance to stand up to him instead of being powerless like I was in a dream. And feel free to get the fuck out of my house, asshole! Malix growled at me, walking right up to me and leaning close to my face. I glared back, feeling my courage skyrocket.
Since when does a little stain like you give orders to a guy who can rip your pretty little head from your body?
You really don't think, do you? If you kill me, you'll be hunted down by more than just the police.
You little...
What? All of a sudden, I felt a hand grip my hair and pull it back, forcing me to cry out and stare up at Malix. His eyes bored into mine as he cackled in my face.
Hey! Let her go!
Sam! Eric!
Within mere seconds, Sam had punched Malix square in the jaw, forcing him to let go of my hair. As I fumbled back, Eric caught me in his arms, gently pulling me away from Malix and back in their group.
Come on, Sam. You and me. Right here. Let's go!
Come on, asswipe!
However, before both could fight, the woman stepped forward and placed a firm grip on Malix's shoulder.
That's enough, Malix.
What? Who do you think you're speaking to, woman?
The girl who's going to help you kill them. Just not now.
Not now?
I stared as the girl spoke down at Malix. She looked the same, just like pure evil. However, she seemed to be concerned for Malix. Or for me.
There's 5 of them, and 2 of us. Even if we come back with the gang, they can have the place surrounded by human police.
Then we shoot everyone!
I like this logic. If everybody comes, we just shoot them. I mean, what's so hard about this?
Think! If we shoot everyone, we'll be hunted. And it'll be a matter of time before makeshift paladins come and try to exorcise us.
The two growled at each other. If they could have used their magic, I could sense that fire would glow from under their teeth. Malix grunted and glared at the boys. He pointed at James, wanting so badly to use his fingers like a knife.
Just wait, pretty boys. We'll get you and fuck you up real good.
The only one who's going to be fucking up those incubi is me. Then, Malix turned to me, moving his finger to point directly between my eyes.
And don't think you're safe. Step outside. I dare you.
With that, Malix and the woman walked out of the mansion. The doors closed behind them, leaving the boys and I alone once again. I felt my knees give out from under me, forcing the boys to quickly turn to catch me.
Whoa, whoa! Are you alright?
Yeah. Why was he here?
He's been closely tracking us. Our blood trail from the forest must have led him here.
We should have stopped him and finished it here.
For once, Matthew, I agree with you.
I stood up and rubbed my arms, feeling the goosebumps Malix left behind on me. I couldn't stop myself from shivering in fear of his words. Malix, was he a demon?
That son of a bitch is not a demon. He's a devil.
A devil? There's a difference?
Yes. Demons come from a different plane of existence called the abyssal planes. Devils, however, come from one of the 7 circles of a place humans know. It's hell. Despite us not being human, we are very different creatures.
We actually have brains, for one. Devils always like to cause trouble and try to kill or torture others for their own enjoyment. Demons, like us, know when to use our powers and when not to. We're not stupid.
Devils follow orders from higher-ups in their order, and their power only comes from their connection to hell. Demons all have free wills and don't rely on where they came from to use their powers.
It was all so confusing. Demons and devils and magic and... It all existed and I happened to land in the middle of it. Fuck me 4 times! Yeah! What do we do?
You're safe. You've been protected as well.
What?
What Damien's saying is that the magic that protects this place also protects you.
Your grandfather must have cast it when you last saw him or something of that nature. We can sense its aura around your body.
Couldn't believe my ears. It was the 3rd day of surprises, and this one took the cake in being the most surprising. Hell yeah! I felt my head spin once again. What did I get myself into?
Miss, please don't worry. We'll find a way to train ourselves and become stronger to finally finish this feud.
Kick his ass right now!
Until then, we'll protect you as much as we can. If Malix comes back, we'll be here for you.
What about going outside? Won't he?
Like we said, you have a protection spell on you. Even if Malix attacks you, he won't be able to use his magic on you. He'd be just like any other human you can fight back against.
Didn't you say you knew Taekwondo?
Well, yeah. I felt somewhat relieved that I was mostly safe from Malix. Still, I could not help but feel very nervous and apprehensive about the future. The boys were safe here to train and become stronger, but what if Malix did the same? Even more so, I was lost about how my grandfather knew about magic. I had to find out. At least, I had time. I went to bed that night feeling nervous, despite the words of the incubi. I felt like a target to something I'd never be able to explain or prove. Magic? Devils? Demons? How did this all even happen? Should I really meddle with this situation? They're only staying until after they defeat Malix. That's right, they said they'd only stay until after they defeated Malix. After that, my life could go back to normal. Temporary insanity, as Kay would say. The question was then, would I want them to leave? If my life went back to normal, then I'd have to care for the house all on my own. I'd get to focus on my life instead of being distracted by the boys. I'd have to. My life. Where was my life going anyway? I was under pressure from my parents with only my friends and the boys to comfort me. Without the boys, I'd have no way to hide from my responsibilities. Enough. Let's just sleep and deal with tomorrow when it comes. Defeating my sense of thought, I forced myself to sleep, unsure of what tomorrow had planned for me. Hopefully, whatever the future had for me, I would be ready for it.
I promise to be with you forever. You're so important to me.
I swear I'll give my life to you.
Please, let me love you.
I'll be by your side, always.
I can't imagine living without you.
I want to be with you.
I love you.
I slowly opened my eyes, letting the voices of my dream echo in my head and force me awake. I rubbed my eyes before sitting up and looking at my clock. 7 a.m. Why am I up so early? It's not fair. I fell back onto the bed and closed my eyes, trying to go back to sleep. However, something kept me awake. Why? It's too early to even be alive. I gave up and sat up, staring at the fireplace across from my bed. A sigh escaped from between my lips before I threw my legs over the side of the bed. What to do at 7 a.m. in the morning? Let's work on some homework. Why not? I had to work on my homework. I had school tomorrow, regardless of what was happening in my life. At that moment, I wish school was over. Well, might as well get it done now. I reluctantly took my books out of the bag that sat on the floor. I made my bed into a study picnic area as I began to work through my homework. The benefit of doing your homework in the morning, not having to do it later. Downside, mornings suck for trying to use your brain for anything educational. Makes sense. Perfect logic. The formula for fixed cost is FC plus VC times Q equals TC. Marginal cost is total cost minus fixed cost. I felt my brain slowly start to ramp up the flow of logical thought, speeding up the time I was working on each economic equation I had. It wasn't a matter of me being smart about anything when it came to doing homework or doing well in class, but I was quick to learn and easily retained information. If only I could learn about the boys this fast. I stopped. Did I really just compare learning about demons to learning about economics? It's 7 a.m. It's too early to be alive, let alone make sense. I shook my head and continued to work. I returned to bed, feeling the weight of the morning drag me under my covers to try sleeping again. I had energy, but I wanted more sleep. It was Sunday and nothing was happening today. Come on, eyes. Back to sleep. I shut my eyes and tried to slow my breathing. I looked at my phone to check the time once again. It was noon, yet I felt like I had slept for much longer. Why is time going so slowly? Probably because I'm not really doing anything. I sighed, got changed into normal clothes, and went out to the main hall and sat on the stairs. Sundays were very boring. However, the muffled sounds of battle caught my attention. Huh? I quickly went out to the backyard in response to the noise I had heard. In the yard were all 5 of the boys, practicing fighting. Sam was in the middle, the other 4 surrounding him and throwing punches and kicks at him. Sam, being the strongest of the bunch, blocked and dodged each almost masterfully. Let's let them work. Why not? I just watched. The boys were very much in their own world, focusing on the training they were all in. It was better not to disturb them. I checked the time and decided to head inside the kitchen. I was getting hungry and I'm sure the boys would need to eat soon, so lunch was a must. Might as well make lunch today. It's been a while since I cooked. Ugh. Well, Mika, you may be able to cook, but Tara the Fox here does not cook at all. Nope. In fact, if I ever cooked, you might want to run away, because something bad might happen. Anyway. Lunch wasn't particularly hard. I decided to make... Oh, fuck, I don't remember what we made. Pizza. Let's do pizza. Pizza is always good, no matter what time of day it is. Do we have any? Luckily, we had some pizzas in the freezer to heat up. Pizza is a more baked with love pizza. All had the makings of pizza types, including pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, and extra cheese. Who the fuck puts mushrooms on pizza? Just top it, bake, and serve. I'd have to get more later. Seriously, fucking mushrooms? Fucking fungi? On food? Alright. Whatever. I placed the food in the dining room. However, none of the boys were there by the time I brought the final dish out. I carried that dish to the main lobby, catching the boys separating into different rooms of the house. Part of me wanted to go to one in particular. The other part of me wanted to just leave them be and take the food in my hand to my room and eat. Maybe I could go out today while the boys focus on training. And, of course, we're doing the love interest for the incubi, so we're gonna hunt one down. I quickly rushed back and grabbed a second food dish before hunting down one of the boys. I looked down each hall, trying to find one of the incubi, wondering so that I wouldn't have to go through each individual room finding them. I pursed my lips in irritation. Where the heck are they? I sighed. Knowing that I would have to search for them in each room, I turned to head down the west hall before I suddenly bumped into an opening door, face first. Oof!
Whoa! What the?
I quickly stepped back, regaining my balance on my feet with the food in my hands. The last thing I wanted was food on the floor. I shook my head and looked up to see Sam, smiling at me from behind the door in surprise. Being that I only saw his face, he was wet, so I assumed that the door led to the bathroom he was exiting from.
Oh, crap. Are you alright?
Yeah. I brought food. Frickin' douche. What the hell? Why did I say that? I shook my head and acted like I knew what I said. Sam raised an eyebrow before looking to the food I brought.
Oh, hey. Thanks.
Oh my god! Oh, what button was it? We have to see this. There we go. Oh. Finally, you're useful for something. As Sam stepped out from behind the bathroom door and closed it, I was suddenly face to face with a shirtless and freshly cleaned Sam. A simple towel was hanging over his shoulders as he looked to me. I remained frozen, unable to turn my eyes away from the sight. Damn, he was ripped!
Hey, you alright? Hello?
Sam let a sly smirk appear on his lips before tapping my forehead with his finger. It was light, but I still felt pressure from it to push me back a bit on my feet.
You gonna give me my food, or do you plan to keep staring into space like a nut job?
Huh? Oh, right! Here! Take it! I don't need this of any kind? Yes, I do. I quickly gave Sam his food, glaring at him. He chuckled before quickly dropping to the floor and crossing his legs to sit. I did a total takedown at him before joining him to eat. I was hungry, so might as well. Sam must have been hungry, because he practically scarfed all of his food down before I could get 2 bites out of mine. Jeez, you eat fast.
Oh, sorry. It was good, yeah.
Thanks? Sam sat in silence, waiting for me to finish. It was odd. It was not far from having a dog watch you while you ate. Nevertheless, I finished my food quicker than I normally did and looked to Sam, who somehow got his shirt and vest on while I wasn't looking. Boy, take those clothes off and put that towel back on. You're like, the only reason I don't want to smack you is when you're wearing that towel. Just saying. Just saying. Damn, he was fast.
Alright then, I'm heading up to the roof.
Roof? Roof? He was heading to the roof? Why? Why the... What? The roof?
Yeah. Wanna come with?
Hold on. He wanted me to join him? On the roof. The roof of a huge mansion. How? Why?
I promise you won't fall, or whatever. Okay?
Okay. Even though I find you as a fuckboy, I'll take your word for it. I didn't know why I was up for this, but I said okay. The small adventurous side of me was very happy with my decision, but another side of me was screaming at me, asking me why I did that. Sam took the empty dishes and placed them on a nearby stand before walking to a nearby window and looking to me. Wait, a window?
Come on.
I walked towards Sam, unsure of what he wanted to do. As I stepped to his side, he wrapped a tight arm around my waist and hugged me to his side. Whoa!
Better hold on tight.
I instantly wrapped my arms around Sam as he opened the window and stepped up on the ledge. I could feel him tighten his grip on me as he looked up and grabbed the end of the roof with his free hand. I gripped tightly to him as he somehow was able to pull both of us up to the roof with that one hand. He lifted me to the roof before pulling himself up and sitting with a content sigh.
See? I told you I wouldn't let you fall.
Yeah. Sure. I sat up beside Sam, trying to shake off what had happened. He was a demon. I had to remember that, no matter how human he looked.
Pretty sight, huh?
I raised my eyebrow before looking ahead of us. I gasped. The sight was truly beautiful. The estate was settled on a high hill, so the view I saw made me feel like I was flying. I could see Chicago in the distance, surrounded by forests and suburbs, like the one I resided in. Something about the sight took my breath... Wow, I can read. Something about the sight took my breath away. I silently thanked my adventurous side for taking the risk to come up here. And if I recall correctly, I think this is the only time where in this main game it mentions they live in Chicago. I could be mistaken, but I really don't remember Chicago being mentioned in any other run, in any other routes besides Sam. So, anyway. Again, I could be wrong, which we'll find out at a later point, I guess, but I'm pretty sure Sam's the only one who says Chicago, though.
You know, it's things like this that make the human world worth coming to.
I turned to Sam at his statement, unsure of what he meant. He kept his eyes to the view, but I could see a very soft amazement in his eyes. What do you mean?
I'm not like my brothers. I didn't come to get away from anything or to fulfill something. Whatever they may tell you their reasons were, I came because, well, they're my brothers. And that's that. However, I didn't expect the human world to be so pretty.
I didn't understand. The brothers were running from more than just Malix? What could have possibly driven them from where they were? You all ran from something?
We all had our reasons for leaving the Abyssal Plains. James didn't want to deal with his problems. Matthew wanted to live with humans more than demons. I came because I didn't want to be without my brothers. So I left with them.
Isn't that demon wanting to live with humans more than demons? Not Matthew? I could be wrong. That's rather sweet if you think about it.
It doesn't matter. I came, so here I am.
I frowned and bit my lips slightly. I wasn't sure if he even wanted to be here with how he was answering. Still, I felt a small wave of confidence drive me to scoot closer to Sam. I wanted to try to be friends. Fate didn't like that, apparently. I found myself losing my balance and wound up starting to fall off the roof. Ah!
Whoa!
Instantly, Sam grabbed me and pulled me to him. He wrapped his arms around me, making sure I wasn't able to fall back down the roof, but that wasn't what made me blush wildly from ear to ear. I had somehow landed and straddled over his lap, 'cause, you know, life's little accidents, you know? He was hugging me close to his chest. It was almost like a romance scene in a love story. I couldn't tear my eyes away from Sam as he stared up at me in concern.
I gotcha. You okay?
Yes, I am. However, I continued to look down at him as he stared up at me. Neither of us knew what to do, and I could feel that we were both lost in that fact. As we looked at each other, Sam's face grew slightly red.
Hey, I might as well say it now, but sorry for being a dick when we met.
Aww, are you apologizing? Aww, so nice. So nice. Except, you said when we met. What about all the other times you're a total fucking dick? I must have been dreaming. Sam was being sincere? Why? However, as I stared, I could feel his strength weakening. He was shaking, but continued to hold me to keep me safe from falling. Sam, do you need energy? Sam's eyes widened before he looked away, refusing to answer, but refusing to let me go. I didn't feel any energy drain, so he wasn't trying to take advantage of the situation. That was it. He needed energy, but should I give it? And... yep. We're gonna give it. Here we go! I gently grabbed Sam's face and tilted his head to angle with mine. Leaning in closer to him, I brought my lips to his and kissed him deeply. I didn't know if this would help, but it was how he got his energy before. I shut my eyes, waiting for the draining feeling to reappear in my body. Sam didn't move, nor did I feel energy drain from me. I opened my eyes and saw Sam staring wide-eyed at me, but unmoving. He was unsure of what to do, and I had silenced him with confusion. I didn't know why, but I felt both irritated and accomplished at the question and the look he was giving me. Where was his flirting? Where was his cocky smirk? I'm sorry, when the fuck has he ever flirted? Can we just hold up for like 2 seconds? When the fuck has he flirted? Eric is the flirter. When the fuck is the Sam... Oh my god. Know what? Let's just drop it. Let's just keep going. Keep going! From what I remembered, he took advantage of me when we met, yet now he was somehow intimidated by me. I pulled away and spoke. I want to give you some of my energy. You've used a lot of it, and I'm sure that the energy you took from me was only used for healing. Let me help you.
I mean, I don't...
Sam, if you don't want my energy, just tell me. I'm offering it to you if you do. All of a sudden, I felt that familiar feeling of warmth run through my body once again. I felt my body slightly heat up as Sam pulled my body tighter to his. He regained his stoic gaze before speaking.
Just remember, you offered it.
Yeah, unfortunately I did. Before I knew it, Sam pulled me into a gentle but passionate kiss. Heat erupted through my body as his kiss slowly and almost timidly got deeper. Sam kept an arm around my waist while I rested my hands on his chest. The energy from my body was slowly draining from the kiss, making me feel light and warm. It was almost pitiful how comfortable and how willing I was in this situation. Still, I held no regrets. I was enjoying every bit of this kiss. Sam gently leaned back, pulling me along with him so that I was lying on top of him. I felt odd, yet comfortable to be the one in control. Sam wasn't as forceful as he was when we first met, and it felt almost magical. It was how I imagined the first kiss to be like, except without the energy drain. Soon though, the energy drain stopped and Sam gently pushed my face away to end the kiss. I stared down at him as we both panted for air. I never kissed like that before, and I was so lost in the moment that I had forgotten how to breathe. Sam moved to a strand Sam moved a strand of my hair from my face to behind my ears, eyes still full of desire. The look in Sam's eyes, though, I almost couldn't find the strength to pull away. I could feel the hold of his mind-altering spell fade away, but I still felt hot. Something told me that I wanted more, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if I truly did want to give any more. Let's fucking keep going. I opened the opportunity and I was enjoying it as much as he was. I wanted more, and I was going to let him keep going. I wanted to keep going. I leaned down and kissed him again. Sam gasped against my lips but continued to kiss back. I could feel him pull on the tail of my bow, releasing it and falling his hand off from around my neck. I was like, what? He moved the ribbon to his pocket before gently unbuttoning the top 2 buttons of my blouse. The desire in my body drove me insane, forcing a moan to escape my lips as he ran kisses from my lips down to my exposed neck. God damn it, I'm having a hard time reading, Jesus Christ. As he began to ravish my neck and shoulder in hot kisses, I leaned my head back and let a pleasurable sigh escape my lips. Sam was ruthless in his passionate kisses on my skin. Sam didn't stop touching and kissing me, making more moans and gasps rush out of my mouth into the open air. He may have been full, but he was as hot as I was. I couldn't even comprehend how much time we spent making out. I was so lost in the pleasure that I didn't care. Call it sinful, but I didn't care. I loved it. His touch, his kiss, his heat. I desired it beyond anything at that moment, even as he lowered his kisses down my chest to just above my bra. My heart was beating wildly in my chest. Something about Sam intrigued me immensely. Something made my heart quicken for him. It couldn't have been love, but it was just too passionate to be lust. What was it? However, I began to feel dizzy, seeing the sky start to spin almost wildly. I gripped to Sam's shoulders, trying to signal him to stop, but my mind faded to black before I let out another sound. I felt good. I didn't care that I was blacked out. I felt warm and fuzzy in the darkness. I never knew indulging in that kind of passion would be that good. I now just waited to be awakened, hopefully in a good way. My eyes eventually fluttered open, adjusting to the sight around me. I felt familiar silks underneath me, letting me know that I was in my bed. I slowly sat up, stretching from the tiredness that still lingered. I felt a very soft pain in my neck and shoulders, and I could feel my swollen lips pulled gently in healing. However, when I looked down at my can I please read some freaking English? However, when I looked down at my body, I saw that my shirt had been pulled back and rebuttoned as if nothing happened between me and Sam. I was just missing my ribbon. Before I could turn to get out of bed, though, I spotted my ribbon on the pillow beside the one I slept on. It was tied in a nice bow with a small note attached to it. I gently slipped the note from the tie and opened it to read it.
Sorry, I went a little too far.
I stared the note, letting a small smile grace my lips. He went too far? I enjoyed it, despite the first-time circumstance. It was cute, though, to imagine him thanking me for something we both did and enjoyed. I brought the note to my chest, letting the memories of our meeting flood in my mind. I indulged myself too, Sam. I looked at the time out of curiosity. The large white numbers on my phone showed 5:31 p.m. Yikes! 4 hours of being knocked out, and I still felt tired. Well, again, our energy was just freaking taken. Mika, please, don't be a dumbass. It was Sunday, so I allowed to sleep longer if I wanted to. The remainder of the night passed by, surprisingly uneventful. The boys continued to train with each other, but were kind enough to stop and make me dinner. I was glad for that. Unsurprisingly, the food was perfect, but it felt a little empty without the boys to eat with me. They most likely had already eaten, but still, I felt lonely. I couldn't let it bother me. I ate and went back to my room to study and sleep. Surprisingly, I felt good going to bed that night. I felt like I could have a peaceful sleep after the previous rough nights I had. I felt good. I drifted to sleep and woke up almost flawlessly that next morning. No grogginess, no aches, perfectly energized and bright-eyed. Man, how long has it been since I got that much good sleep? I looked to my alarm clock. I woke up 10 minutes before my alarm. Well, hey, I must be lucky today, 'cause hearing my alarm clock is the worst thing in the goddamn universe. Karma owed me some luck. After all I had gone through in merely a handful of days, I deserved to get some good luck. Ecstatic for the day ahead, I turned off my alarm before they could ring and got dressed. However, my phone started to quickly buzz from an incoming text. Huh? Who's texting me this early?
Yo, Anderson! You're carpooling with us from now on. We're not letting you waste your money on a bus. Get ready and be at your gate at 7 stat.
I smiled. My friends were the best. I couldn't drive yet, and I didn't have a car, so it was awesome that my friends would let me carpool. Yay, my friends! They're the best! I checked the time. 6:30. Perfect. I can eat some breakfast before they come. I packed my bag and carried it downstairs to the kitchen. As I entered the dining room, I saw a plate with eggs, toast, and bacon sitting on the table. A fresh steaming cup of coffee sat next to the plate with the sugar and creamer on the side. I walked to the table and couldn't believe what I was seeing. Who made this? As I spoke aloud, a small red note caught my attention. Have a good day. Yours. My heart skipped a beat as I finished. I could tell it was from one of the boys. Maybe it was from him? Our fuckboy Sam? No. Say it isn't so. I smiled before putting the note in my bag and eating up. The food was so delicious, I devoured every amazing bite. Damn, that's some good-ass eggs. I looked to the time again. Time to go. I quickly rushed to the doors, checking myself in the passing mirror. I wasn't wanting to impress anyone, but I still wanted to look decent. Before I could reach the handle of the door, however, someone took my hand. Huh? I turned to see Sam, who was holding my hand back with a stern look on his face.
My name.
Your name?
My true name isn't Sam. I want you to know my real name if something happens.
His true name? What did he mean? Why is he telling me this now? Sam gently pulled me to him and leaned close to him, whisper in my ear.
My name is Amaris.
As he said his name, I could feel it lock into my memory. Something in my head would make sure I would never forget it. Sam pulled away and stared... Excuse me. Sam pulled away and stared at me, despite still carrying worry in his eyes.
If you're in any danger, any time, it doesn't matter when, call my name. I promise that I'll come and help you.
Aw, sounds so... sweet, I guess? I still think you're a fuckboy, Sam. I stared up at Sam, unable to say anything. I could only nod in response. Sam nodded back before releasing my hand and heading into the dining room. Something told me that name would be used eventually. And right on cue, Naomi drove up to the gates with Suzu waving me down. I rushed to the door and we headed to school, talking about the homework and the coming day. We made it into the school without a hitch. Our lockers were in the same part of the hall, so we quickly unloaded what we needed to and got our important books and necessities. First incident of the day. As I walked towards Suzu and Naomi, who both were waiting for me on the opposite side of the hall, something hooked my ankle and made me fall forward. Ow!
Hey, are you okay?
Who did that?
The three of us looked back to see Lisette and her gaggle of girls. Lisette had a look of complete innocence, while the girls around her giggled like no tomorrow.
Why, you little...
Suzu, don't!
I felt a giant fire of anger burn in my stomach as I stared at Lisette. Today was not the only time this had happened to me. However, it was now clear who was behind these incidents. Even if she was innocent and one of her goons did it, it was now obvious that Lisette was the mastermind, but just from the look on her face. She was no friend, nor would she ever be. I had to do something. Well, normally I would choose stand up and walk away because that's just faster and easier, but fuck it. We're going to do it differently today because we're going through, Sam's route. And I'm not too particularly happy about it, so let's relieve some of that stress about going through Sam's route. And get her! I had had enough! I felt adrenaline rush through my body as I pounced off the ground and rushed at Lisette. I was not going to be the only one with the scrapes this time. I tackled Lisette to the ground, wiping and slapping her innocent face. She screamed in fright before trying to push me off and block my attacks.
Holy shit! Anderson! Stop it!
I wasn't listening anymore. I let my carnal need to get revenge take over as I began to pull at Lisette's hair to get better aim at her face with my free hands. I'd had enough of the bullying, the wounds, the insults. All of that was going to burn in the past as I scraped my nails and hands across Lisette's face over and over. My rebellion would be marked on her pretty face for all to see. Lisette pushed me off and scrabbled to her feet, both panicked and angry at the same time. Her emotion was nowhere close to the anger I was feeling.
Are you crazy? What the hell?
I stood up very slowly, glaring daggers into Lisette's soul through her eyes. I must have had some sort of monster behind me, or maybe I looked like the monster myself, but the gaggle of girls, Lisette, and even my friends had the look of pure terror on their faces. I have had enough of you, Lisette. You obviously won't stop unless I fight back. Well, guess what? You're gonna get it. I charged at Lisette a second time, shoving her hard against the lockers. She let out a yelp of pain as she smacked the back of her head against the metal behind her before glaring and shoving me back. As I stumbled back, Lisette raised her hands, ready to fight.
Then come on, Anderson! Show me what you've got! I bet it's not much.
I felt myself snarl in anger before raising my own fist. Remembering my taekwondo, I quickly snapped onto one leg and raised a leg to get a quick, swift kick at her head, but she blocked with her arm and stepped towards me to jab at me. She had training, not surprising. I didn't care at the moment. I bent back away from the incoming jab, re-established my balance as I placed both feet on the ground. Lisette threw another jab upon jab at me, forcing me to block my torso and face with arms and hands. Hit for hit, Lisette and I exchanged defensive blows at each other. It was indeed more than just a cat fight. This was a vengeful duel. In my mind, all I saw was Lisette. All I wanted was to make her stop, and if that meant beating her down, then it had to be done. We eventually gained a small crowd of people, all silent but observing the fight. My anger intensified and my hits became harder with each second that passed between us. I couldn't let her win. I wouldn't let her win. None of Lisette's girls dared to step in, apparently afraid to after seeing our skills and our individual fighting styles. Suzu was held back by Naomi's arm, despite both of them wanting to help me. They didn't wait long for it to end, though. Suddenly, Lisette was pulled away from me and I was pushed against the lockers by strong force. Lisette hit the lockers as well on the opposite end of the hallway, letting out a girly grunt of pain. I looked up to see my art teacher, Miss Gordon, holding me against the lockers with a look of surprise and serious concern on her face.
Miss Anderson, what are you doing?
I looked to see Lisette, being held back by Mrs. Phillips, starting to cry innocently. I knew what was going to come out of her mouth, so I tried to push Miss Gordon off to confront her. Miss Gordon, however, kept an arm wrapped around me, keeping me back. No, don't you dare start crying, Lisette. You started this!
Miss Anderson, get a hold of yourself!
What is wrong with you? What did I ever do to you? I couldn't stop the angry tears running down my face as I shouted across the hallway. Lisette and Mrs. Phillips stared in shock at my screams as Miss Gordon tightened her hold on me. I am so sick of it! Leave me alone, Lisette! Eventually, I lost my energy and began to weigh down on Mrs. Gordon's arms, letting my sadness take over and quench my anger with tears and swelling pain. I could feel Miss Gordon hug me to her to keep me upright as Lisette sniffled and confided with Mrs. Phillips.
I didn't do anything to her! She just attacked me all of a sudden.
That's a lie, Lisette. You tripped her on purpose. You've always been a snobby prick to us.
Never! I gave my condolences about her grandfather's death. I try to keep everyone calm. Is that so wrong?
You didn't even sound sincere. We know you were only pretending to be nice to spite us.
Enough. Miss White, follow me to the dean's office.
Lisette followed, wiping her eyes in a feigned innocence she knew how to play up. I remained still in Mrs. Gordon's arms, unable to bring myself to fight to get at Lisette again. I had done my damage. The gaggle of Lisette wannabes would make sure I became infamous around the school. I didn't care. I made my statement on Lisette's face and body, and I wasn't afraid to do it again. Miss Gordon, however, wasn't done with me.
Come with me, sweetie.
Ah, shit. I nodded and followed. My friends frowned as they watched me leave, but they headed to class without me. Miss Gordon led me to an empty classroom, which she had claimed as hers. It looked like all the other classrooms, but art posters lined the walls. Many students loved the room, but hated one thing: the mirror in the very back of the room. It was the one thing Miss Gordon loved to use against her students. With it, she was able to see who was using their phones and who was actually studying. Miss Gordon led me to the back of the room and sat me down in front of it.
What do you see?
Huh?
Tell me what you see.
I looked in the mirror and saw myself. My clothes were a little ruffled from the fight, but beyond that, I was just saw me. Nothing about me seemed different than normal. I see myself.
All right. What else?
What else? I don't understand, Miss Gordon. Oh, speaking of Miss Gordon, I believe this is the only time you see her at all. She does not appear anywhere else. And I do mean in the second game either. She does not appear, like, she's not secretly a demon or anything. She's just literally here for just this scene, should you decide to fight Lisette. I don't know why, but, again. Whatever.
Do you know what I see? I see a brilliant woman who has been working her butt off to try and find herself. She just has a little bit of adversity in her way.
What does this have to do with what happened with Lisette?
Listen, don't think about Lisette right now. She's just another student who doesn't know what you're going through.
I stared at myself in the mirror, unable to tear my eyes away. She was right, but I still lingered on what happened with Lisette. I know Miss Gordon was only trying to help, but I couldn't fight the thoughts in my head. Miss Gordon gently rubbed my shoulders, snapping me from my thoughts. I looked up to see her smile down at me through the mirror.
You know, those were some pretty interesting moves. Taekwondo?
Yeah?
You'll have to show me one day.
I laughed as she hugged me gently.
Look, don't let Lisette get to you, okay? You have your own battles to face, and you can face them just fine. Instead of fighting Lisette, focus on your goals.
I looked up at her and nodded slightly. It was cliché to hear, but she was telling the truth. I needed to focus on myself first. She gave me a small packet of tissues and told me that she would handle Lisette. The fear about my family learning of this that had quickly appeared had vanished when she promised to keep me out of it as much as she could.
Everything will be fine now. You're a good student, so I'll let you off with a severe warning. Just don't get into any more fights, okay? Now, head to class.
I nodded before heading to class. Yes, ma'am! Woo! We got a very lucky break with that. Whew. Surprisingly, the rest of the school day went off without another incident. I went to my classes, had lunch, and was anxious to get home. As the bell rang for school to end, I felt my phone vibrate in my pocket. Huh? A text? From Dad? I'll be picking you up today. Make sure you're ready to go when I get there. That's kind of a surprise. I quickly headed back to my locker and got my things before waiting for Naomi and Suzu.
Hey, are you ready to go?
Actually, my dad's picking me up.
Really? Okay, I guess that kind of makes sense. We'll drive home together next time. Tell your dad that we've got you covered from now on.
Yeah, alright. Even while I laughed, something didn't seem right. My dad texted me to say this. Why was he going to pick me up? Had I done something wrong? I didn't know. And it was very, very odd. I waved goodbye to Naomi and Suzu before heading off to the usual spot where my dad picks me up. I took the time to listen to my music while I waited. I need to go to another Rise of the Phoenix concert. Oh! Eventually, I had played the entire album with no one showing up. What the? Hey, Dad's never late. Especially not this late. I quickly dialed my dad's number again, but as soon as I pressed call, it disconnected and I read a signal disconnecting error message. What the? No signal error? How do I not have signal? I double checked my phone and saw all 5 bars for signal. He must be in a dead zone. Before I could finish, a group of hands grabbed at my hands, feet, and covered my mouth. I screamed into the hand over my mouth, struggling to pull away from the hands grabbing at my limbs. It felt disgusting and scary, feeling their hands on me. I needed it to stop.
Hey! Don't dirty up Malix's prey!
The voice, which sent a fearful shiver down my spine, whispered into my ear.
You're coming with me, Miss Anderson.
I couldn't fathom what was happening, but before I knew it, I was blindfolded and my limbs were quickly tied up. I felt myself being carried somewhere and was shoved into something that echoed the interior of a bus or van. The doors closed up, and off I was taken, unsure of where I was going and why. All I knew was that I was in trouble. Dun dun dun! But that'll be it for today's episode, because I am a dick and like to end on this cliffhanger. But yeah, interesting little episode. Sam's starting to be a little nicer. Supposedly nicer to us. But we got a nice fight until the set, which was nice. Anyway, I am Tara the Fox. You are the viewer. And I hope to see you next time.